What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyle, and here we talk about marathon training. I go for runs, and generally I just kind of reflect on the miles I run, how things are going, sometimes shoes and gear. Most of the time it's just kind of an update on how distance running is going for me, how marathon training is going, and this week is no different. I'm going to start off with an injury update. If you've been following through Instagram and Strava, then you know that things have gone in the right direction, but I'll give you a bit of an update on the injury. I'm going to shoot you out to a 16-mile long run that I filmed on yesterday, and then I'll bring everything back. We'll talk about the week as a whole, my first kind of real week back of training, and kind of thought I would just end things with some thoughts from a runner, mainly just one thing that I've been thinking about. But first and foremost, the injury. Fracture in my wrist, the cuneiform bone, which I believe is kind of more towards the middle of the wrist. It's a bit of an odd bone. It is a displaced fracture, but the orthopedist said I do not need surgery and that it will heal on its own, which was kind of the best news, honestly, for me. Definitely while running, I've had it stabilized in this little brace, and I've gotten out for some pretty good runs. How's it been feeling? It feels slowly, progressively, a tiny bit better, like all long-term healing injuries. I've noticed, I have a tiny bit more range of motion each day, things like shampooing your hair. I can kind of like reach around my head a little bit better without feeling like I'm really going up against something. And bottom line, I can run, which is, I think, where I will transition this segment and shoot you out to the beginning of the 16-mile run that I did yesterday morning.
That's gotta be pretty good. All right, this is the best I can hold the camera with it. My hand in the brace. Head out for 16. Gelling on 4, 8, and 12. Just carrying water. Polishing off a 52-mile week, I believe. I'm sure I'll know when I sit down. Decided to throw on the Endorphin Pro 3s. I really love these shoes. As soon as I put them on, I was like, man, I should try to find another pair of these while I still might be able to. Yeah. Wearing my silly rabbit half tights. I've got just like an active t-shirt underneath this on pullover and a Sealy hat. Outfit of the day. I don't normally do. Yeah, so head out for 16. Nice and easy. Feeling good. Body's taking the miles pretty nice. And I'll update you guys a couple times throughout. It's kind of cold. Like high 30s. Dry though. Well, I mean, everything's wet because it rained all night, but it's supposed to stay dry. Yeah. Let's do it. Eight miles in. I mean, I feel fine. Just kind of feel like I've almost gotten like a lightheadedness, but like almost throughout the body a couple times this week. Feeling it now. Yeah, I don't know. Eased off. Switched my watch from kind of distance and pace to heart rate for a little bit, just to make sure it was hanging around where I want it. It was fine, around 150. I'm gonna take a mixed berry calf now. I don't really like the flavor, but I will say I took one either Wednesday or Thursday this week, and I feel like it kind of turned me on a bit, Ooh, turn me on. Don't be weird, guys. Don't be weird. You know what I meant. Just made me feel kind of voo voo voo. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna take one of those now. Maybe check in one more time as we're close to the end. I feel like checking in close to the end is more more usable insight, because you know, miles 0 through passing the 8 marker again, like, I don't know, I did that a couple times during the week, and I'm not tested too much in those miles most of the time. Sometimes I am, but yeah, so I feel like checking in a little bit later just better. Those are the harder points to run, so yeah. All right, let's get this go gel down. Very excited about it. Been thinking about it for a while. And yeah, we'll keep on rolling. A little bit of sun. Just about 12 and a half in. Just took my last gel, a little mango, delicious. Yeah, I stopped to stretch for about 30 seconds on my last mile. Just kind of felt a little clicking in my, I don't know, inside of my left ankle. I've felt it before. It does go away after a little bit of stretching, so something to just keep an eye on. It doesn't hurt, just kind of weird. Yeah, chugging along. I think the lightheadedness went away, so something I might toy around with. It just seemed to go away when I immediately put calories in, something. So I might toy around with going back to doing a gel right before starting, so that I'm kind of kick-starting intake for during, and then maybe I won't get the lightheadedness. I don't know, it just seems like a weird, it's kind of a spooky feeling. It's not like a heavy fatigue. It's a, is this what passing out is gonna feel like? I don't know, it's weird. Ooh, excuse me. But yeah. We're gonna do about 2.5 more here, hanging around the 11s. And then August 15. And I think the last mile I'm gonna cook a little bit. Honestly, it just gives me something to look forward to. It's kind of fun. And I'll build into it. So a little bit of quick. Ooh, kitty cat. Cute kitty cat. Yeah, so maybe I'll check in to just let you know how the fast mile goes and how I feel right at the end. Let's do it. All right, 16 done. Felt pretty good towards the end. Did maybe like a 7:15-ish last mile. Got down to maybe probably about 6:45. Just like the last like 1/10 of a mile maybe. Felt pretty good. Really tried to focus on just engaging the core and keeping decent form after 15 miles and trying to kick a bit. It's fun. It just, honestly, it feels like it clears everything out. And yeah, so 16 down, felt pretty good. 52 mile week, could be wrong, but I feel like that's another thing about doing the last mile kind of fast, is like that was my last mile on the biggest week I've had in years, and it's just like cherry on top. Still keeping to like if you're talking about 80-20, doing 1 mile like this and then finishing each run during the week like 0.3 0.4 miles, kind of an up tempo, not even like all out, but like I'm doing 95-5 in terms of that ratio of easy running to higher effort. So certainly zone 2 is the way for me at this point. Yeah, we'll get back. I'll send you back to the apartment, go over the week, Bing bong.
Okay, my friends, we are back in the apartment. For me, it's been moments since talking about the injury, and for you, you got to see some footage of my 60-miler run, capping off a 52-mile week. I am now going to jump into Strava on my laptop. I'm going to do a little screen sharing, and we're going to go over kind of just the structure of the week, what I like about it, and kind of one thing I've started doing on each of my runs, and you saw definitely more of at the end of that 16-mile run. So let's hop into Strava. Yeah, so let's take a look at the beginning of the week. We're looking at 5 miles. This has been something I've always kind of started lower on. Only thing I made note of is that surprised I didn't feel worse. I did do 12 miles the day before. That was kind of just testing out where my fitness was. And not gonna lie, that 12 miler was pretty awful. I can scroll down a little bit here. Yeah, my body got used to being a lazy boy. Tuesday, early morning, easy miles. We got 6 in. This is kind of, this has been the thing for me. Tuesday meals, Tuesday miles. The big Wednesday is always for me. That's my midweek high, your mini long run, 10 miles, smooth sailing. I do think I was getting back into the groove of things with my description. Building continues. Patience. Patience is truly the name of distance running, from what I've gathered. Thursday, 8 miles, easy. This was a bit of a test for me. I'd say the pace was easy, but the running itself was not. It's a real sinking feeling when you check the weather and it's supposed to rain 100% for the next 24 hours. And I really don't want to run indoors in a treadmill. And then that means am I taking my full lunch break at work to run 8 miles on a treadmill? That sounds awful. Yeah, running in the rain when it's cold stinks, but hey, those are the days you gotta stay hard. Friday, 7 miles. Originally, I wanted this to be a 6, but I was kind of looking at the miles for the week. I was feeling pretty good, and I was like, you know what? Let's get 7 in here. We'll nail 16 the next day, and we will get that nice 52, a nice little bump from the last biggest week, which is around 50 4 weeks ago. And then capping things off with the workout that you saw, that was the 16 miler that got us to 52 for the week. And I guess the only thing I want to say about this is I really like the structure. I've said this before. I think starting easy on a Monday, with that being kind of your easiest day, you build up to a mini long run on Wednesday, and you try to do as many miles as you can to recover Thursday, Friday. And then I do like the Saturday long run because I think it really gives you that nice window, at least for me. And obviously I'm trying to record today on Sunday, so it gives me time to get all of my work in, the running part, so that I can then try to focus on not feeling awful, recovering, and getting some content out there around it. I'm going to open up the 16 miler. And I think I'm just going to go down to the splits, and we can just go over these really quick. Basically everything was around anywhere from 10:30 to 11:30. Honestly, I was just trying to stay cruising, and keep my heart rate pretty down. That makes sense. In a nice low aerobic state. For me, that's kind of 145 to 155. If I look down, I'm over 155. For me, that is kind of a little bit of a sign to ease off. Keep it easy, keep it steady. I'll bump the heart rate on here. So the only thing I wanted to mention as I transitioned out of talking about speed work is I'm not doing any speed work, but I will say this week in particular, I have found a lot of kind of just enjoyment in throwing in a quarter mile, 0.3, 0.4 of my last run each morning and just kind of cooking it a little bit. Sometimes that's only down to an 8-minute pace. Sometimes that's down to around a 7. And I just wanted to make note that, that last mile I did yesterday, my heart rate still got up to that 170, 175. And that's probably going to be kind of my goal heart rate for a marathon. That seems to be a good window for me to, I'm going to be building lactic acid. I'm going to be going into the pain cave, but I'm not going to totally destroy myself. So a little bit of practice. And this is like, you know, I did a 7:15 at the end of a 16 miler. You know, I do 0.3, 0.4, a little bit quick, 5 days throughout the week after doing all the other miles. We are looking at, you know, people talk about the 80-20 rule. This is, you know, maybe 595. So I am not, this is by far not, you know, this is introducing speed work in a very, very gentle way. And in a way that I think boosts my morale at the same time. So yeah, that's just kind of another thing I wanted to make note of. And I think that's everything I wanted to talk about in Strava, so we can bounce back out, and I'm just gonna give you some thoughts, my final thoughts on the week. So this is something I think I normally do, but I don't give it like a title or anything. This is what I just wanted to call like thoughts from a runner, which is me. And one thing I've been thinking about this week, and I think I've alluded to it throughout the overarching video with how I'm structuring things is, you know, there is all the knowledge out there in the world about running. You know, there are entire books. There is a library of books out there, online podcasts, YouTube videos, people who are training and doing amazing marathon times or ultras or trail races or just like expedition type things, you know, running across the country. And so, you know, everyone's doing amazing things, and they're all, you know, all the information is out there. But I think one thing I've been just thinking about more and more is like, you can run for years and years, and inevitably you are going to learn things for yourself through the practice of doing, and then you're going to take in information from the world around you, from people you talk to at like a run group or see online, probably more see online. And I think my just general thought around this is I really think there's no way to just go figure out all the information and then execute. Stuff happens. You have your own schedule and life. And on top of that, you have your own body, which is not going to work the same way as everyone else's. You might not have the same running economy. You might not have, you know, you might see someone online who, you know, can say like, yo, I only need 10 weeks to ramp up for a marathon or 12 weeks. But like that person, maybe even if they weren't a runner before, like I played soccer my whole life. I have a history of athletics kind of built into my joints. So yeah, like my general thought on things, and this is something I've just been, you know, toying around with on these runs is, yes, I should probably at this point be doing like some dedicated speed work, but I'm just not there yet. And also my plan has always been to get up to around 60-mile weeks, get comfortable there, don't get hurt, you know, manage sleep, manage life, manage your schedule, and then work that stuff in. So it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's also a little bit of like, don't get discouraged when you have a plan, and you see cooler stuff. You see people running cool workouts, track workouts and stuff. And it's just kind of like, if you had a plan and it's working for you, try to not get like pulled out of your dedicated plan like too far. There's always room for adjustments. And like, that's like throwing in these little speed things at the end of my workouts. I don't know. That didn't like come from anywhere. It was just kind of like, this feels like a right thing to do. You know, it's dark. I'm getting into my neighborhood at the end of a 8-miler, and I just wanted to do, you know, 0.3, 0.4, leave it all out there a little bit. Yeah, but that's just kind of my thoughts from the week. That's it for me. That's my 52-mile week. We are going to keep building. I think I'm going to add some extra miles on the early end for next week. It is Thanksgiving week, so it'll be pretty chaotic to try to fit it all in, but we will be safe. We will not jump over any guardrails. We will eat well, enjoy some family time, and also try to get about 55, 56 miles. So yeah, stick around. I'm not uploading a ton, but I'm trying to get it in at least a similar video next week to see how things go. And yeah, stay safe, enjoy your runs, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I've probably filmed over like 100 videos, and like I still like find myself running out of breath, like having an anxious anxiety attack, talking to myself. Sick, dude. Sick. Okay. Okay.